At the conclusion of this lecture, you will be able to distinguish between types of meetings, general meetings and annual general meetings. You will be able to distinguish between types of resolutions, ordinary, special, and written. You will be able to understand the procedure for calling and conducting company meetings. An annual general meeting is a meeting of members of a company at which the members can ask questions and get information about the company. A company must hold an annual general meeting every calendar year. The length of time between one annual general meeting and the next cannot be more than 15 months. The company must send the notice that an annual general meeting will be held with at least 21 days' notice. Now we shall turn to the question of who the members are. The members of a private company limited by shares are its owners. The members of a public company limited by shares are also its owners. For companies limited by shares, members are also known as shareholders. However, the members of a public company limited by guarantee, such as a charity or a voluntary company, may not necessarily be its owners. So, how does a person become a member? There are two ways. When a company is first set up, the people who set it up automatically become members of the company, even if their names are not entered into the register of members. Other people can choose to become members. The company's rules set out who can become a member and how to become a member. Their names are entered in the register of members. Can some companies choose not to hold an annual general meeting? A single-member company can decide not to hold an AGM. The sole member must put this decision in writing and send it to the company. The accounting documents that a company would normally give to members at an AGM must instead be sent to the sole member within the time limits set out in the law. What is the purpose of an annual general meeting? The purpose of an annual general meeting is to give members an opportunity each year to meet the directors, to ask questions and receive information about the company. The main business conducted at an annual general meeting is reviewing the company's financial statements, filling vacancies on the board of directors, appointing auditors, and declaring a dividend, a payment to members. Other matters may also be discussed and voted on. Who can call an annual general meeting? The board of directors will normally call an annual general meeting and will ask the company secretary to send a written notice to members. The notice must follow the rules laid down in company law. Where are annual general meetings held? Every annual general meeting, ordinarily, must be held in the state, unless all the members entitled to attend and vote agree in writing to hold the annual general meeting elsewhere, or the members voted at the previous annual general meeting to hold the next meeting outside the state, or the company changes its internal rules to allow the annual general meeting to be held outside the state. Special or extraordinary meetings. A special meeting, sometimes called an extraordinary meeting, can have two meanings. The first meaning is simply a meeting that is outside the regular timetable. This meaning tends to be simply a colloquial term that is used for something out of the ordinary. It is usually called to discuss something important or unusual, for example, the resignation of a director. This type of meeting usually requires no special notice, but it is good governance to advise everyone who is eligible to attend that the meeting is being held and the purpose for it being held outside of the normal timetable. That is the topic of discussion. The second type of special meeting is one that is defined in an organization's rules and has special requirements. These requirements may be length of notice for the meeting, it may be a special quorum, the number of people required for the meeting to transact business. A special meeting may also have special voting requirements. For instance, it may allow proxy votes. Ordinary meetings or regular meetings. Most meetings are ordinary or regular meetings. These are meetings which are held usually on a regular basis and conduct business for which no special notice needs to be given, according to the organization's rules or constitution. The monthly meeting of a sports club or a parents' group are examples of regular meetings. Turning to the types of resolutions. Section 282 of the Companies Act 2006 defines an ordinary resolution of the members or a class of members of a company as a resolution that is passed by simple majority. If the resolution is to be voted on a show of hands, the majority is determined on the basis of those who vote in person or as duly appointed proxies. Where a poll vote is called, the majority is determined in relation to the total voting rights of members who vote in person or by proxy. A special resolution of the members, or of a class of members, of a company means a resolution passed by a majority of not less than 75%, determined in the same way as for an ordinary resolution, as per Section 283 of the Companies Act. If a resolution is proposed as a special resolution, it must be indicated as such, either in the written resolution text or in the meeting notice. Where a resolution is proposed as a special resolution, it can only be passed as such, although anything that may be done as an ordinary resolution may be passed as a special resolution, as per Section 282, Part 5. There is no longer a requirement for 21 days' notice where a special resolution is to be passed at a meeting. Where a provision of the Companies Acts requires a resolution but does not specify what kind of resolution is required, the default provision is for an ordinary resolution. Written resolutions. Private limited companies are no longer required to hold meetings and can take decisions by way of written resolutions as per Section 281 of the Companies Act. The Companies Act no longer requires unanimous votes to pass a written resolution. It merely requires the appropriate majority of total voting rights, a simple majority for an ordinary resolution and a 75% majority of the total voting rights for a special resolution. By virtue of Section 288, Part 5 of the Companies Act, anything which in the case of a private company might be done by resolution in a general meeting, or by a meeting of a class of members of the company, may be done by a written resolution with only two exceptions. The removal of a director, or the removal of an auditor. These still require the calling of a general meeting of shareholders. A written resolution may be proposed by the directors or the members of the private company. For the case of a written resolution proposed by the directors, the company must send or submit a copy of the resolution to every eligible member. This may be done as follows: either by sending copies to all eligible members in hard copy form, in electronic form, or by means of a website. By submitting the same copy to each eligible member in turn, or different copies to each of a number of eligible members in turn, by a mixture of the above processes. The copy of the resolution must be accompanied by a statement informing the members both how to signify agreement to the resolution and the date by which the resolution must be passed, if it is not to lapse. It is a criminal offence not to comply with the above procedure, although the validity of any resolution passed is not affected. Agreement to a proposed written resolution occurs when the company receives an authenticated document, either in hard copy form or in electronic form, identifying the resolution and indicating agreement to it. Once submitted, agreement cannot be revoked. The company's auditor should also receive a copy of the resolution passed. In conclusion, there are three types of company meetings: annual general meeting, extraordinary or special meeting, and ordinary meeting. Each meeting has a specific purpose. There are also three types of resolutions that can be passed by a company: ordinary, special, and written. These two all have a specific purpose.